Well, welcome back to the podcast.
Yes.
We are here with Brian Deerfield.
Yep.
What's up, dog?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, man, it's good to
Good to
have
see
you on the
you.
podcast.
It's good to be back down in the Panhandle Gulf area.
So if you're unfamiliar with, I know we all use them. We've talked about it. We sell it in the store. And if you follow our stuff, you're probably familiar with who this guy is. But Brian, why don't you just tell everybody, what do you do, man? What's your gig?
I am owner of Deerfield Fabrication and Welding. We're out of High Point, North Carolina, and we build premium surf fishing accessories. So carts, sand spikes. Carts is a big thing. I know you two guys have carts.
Nice ones.
Yeah.
A lot
Thank
of
you.
other.
They're amazing.
You're welcome.
You hooked us up.
A lot of other creators in the area have carts. And honestly, the Gulf is really one of my biggest businesses. So I would say on average, anywhere from 40 to 50% of Deerfield product, it's getting shipped down to this area.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
man.
That's cool.
So that's all? Are you exclusive surf fishing products, or do you do other? Because
So-
you're an aluminum welder,
Right.
correct? Yeah. Which is there's not many of you guys, right? Like that's kind of a very small niche
There-
thing,
They're definitely a
which
lot
puts
of
you in very high demand typically.
welders. I wouldn't say there's a lot of people doing fishing stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the carts, there are a few other guys that do carts. But, you know, there's definitely a lot out there. I think that from Deerfield standpoint, carts and fishing stuff, that is all I do. I get a lot of phone calls of random stuff, and I'm like, I'm sorry I can't accommodate you. I wish I could.
Probably just puts a kink in the system.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
that.
whole flow going on of getting things done. You know, I'll
Yeah.
do batches of carts and, 10 or 15 frames at a time. And anything that stops me from doing that, it's like, oh man, now I'm off that again. And
Sure.
it's going to
Well, I
take
did
days
that
to
to you.
get back. Yeah.
I hit him up and had him make me a fire pit.
Yep.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad threw a
I haven't
wrench
seen.
in
I
the
haven't
system.
seen. I haven't seen your fire pit.
Yeah. It's actually pretty cool. It's
We
like
do
a-
get special treatment.
like a collapsible one, I guess. So it's 4 pieces that all interlock together. So when we're not using it, I can just take them apart and they're just flat. And
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We actually took it down to the keys. We took it
All
apart,
right.
flattened
Nice.
it, put it in the back of the car.
So did
and
you
then
charge
had a
him
fire
for it?
pit.
I did. Oh,
he
yeah.
did.
How much was it?
Big money.
Like how much is it?
I forget what that was.
I think
Like,
you probably didn't charge me whatever it would
I
actually
don't-
cost, but I
it
think
might
I
have
gave you
been
like
like-
100 or 150 maybe.
yeah, something like
It'd have
that.
to be more than that.
Yeah, it had
Like, if you were-
Tennessee logo.
Yeah, he put
and
the Tennessee
dang.
logo.
it said Vols or something,
Balls,
right?
yeah. I'm sure if you like your retail price on that would probably
Yeah,
be more.
like $600, $600.
No.
It's small.
I would imagine maybe with the customization of something like that and having some logos or somebody's name or this or that or something, it'd probably be two and a quarter or something like that. I don't really, and that's the thing. I don't stock a lot of steel at my shop.
Okay, so that was
So-
that was steel.
It was
Yeah.
like this.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's sweet though. Dang,
So most of the stock that I have around the shop is
nice.
Yeah.
all aluminum.
I got it when we were living in Orange Beach still.
Yeah.
You know, over there, we didn't really have anywhere to actually
Sure,
set one up and leave
sure.
it. So that collapsible was nice. So we go set it out in the grass, have a fire, and then just put it up that night. So
Yeah.
So beach carts is your big ticket item, right?
Right.
How many of those are you shipping out a month?
A month, I would say maybe 3 to 4 at most.
Yeah.
Deerfield, I feel like, has become a pretty big name
Oh
in
yeah,
surf fishing.
100%. Yeah.
But it's also, a lot of people don't realize it is a very small business.
Oh yeah, surf fishing is not. Nikki, I told her not to come in here. I was like, we're doing a podcast.
out here interrupting us.
Yeah, walking right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
On-air stuff. Good job, you guys.
Where's that cord?
But Deerfield is still a
I forgot
very
we even had
small
that sign.
business.
Yeah, me too.
We've never turned that on.
Yeah.
It's basically me and my wife. My wife's a stay-at-home mom. She watches her boys, and she's done her whole website. She answers messages. She does a lot of that tail end
Sure.
stuff. That is a tremendous freaking help.
So I got an idea for you to scale your business. possibly. And I talked about it with Buddy before for us doing it, but you'd probably be better at doing it. I don't know what your capacity is. I mean, it sounds like you're doing really well, but like I feel like if all these Airbnbs, like an Airbnb is such a big business, and there's so many in the freaking state of Florida, and Texas, and North Carolinas, and all the deals. Like we just stayed in a Airbnb in Pensacola, and they had beach. And it was right on the beach. And they had beach stuff for us. They had a wagon, but it was kind of crappy.
Right.
You know, it was like the plastic wheels and stuff. It's still nice. You can walk across the street at least with it. But figuring out a way to contact people that own Airbnbs, or I don't know how to get that list necessarily, or
Right.
I mean,
No, that's a great idea.
but figuring out like and market or I don't know how to get in front of those people. I mean, maybe if you started posting content that you kind of figured out the SEO in that game and posted content that would get in front of these people, like that would be, I think, a great market for you to people that own Airbnbs that are wanting to provide that as an amenity for their guests,
Right.
And just pitching that, like obviously the stability, the like, hey, this, it's a little pricier, but this is gonna hold up, because people are using it like you can't break these things. I mean, you could, I guess. But.
I like that idea because me and my wife, we get on VRB or Airbnb, rent houses, and it'll have a full list of amenities. It may even be in some of the pictures on there, like, hey, we have a beach cart that you can use at your disposal, or chairs. You don't have to bring your own.
Yeah.
Better yet, you should go direct to Airbnb, and then you just customize and put the Airbnb logo, paint them pink.
Even better.
Just sell them to
think
Airbnb.
big, dude. Think big. Yeah, absolutely. Like, let them know, hey, I know you got a lot of houses. I mean, how many Airbnb beach houses are out there?
A ton.
Like that's a huge.
Gosh.
That's now your market goes from surf fishing to, a lot bigger. You know what I'm saying? Because like obviously, people would use that whether they.
How
fish
long
or
would it
not.
take you to make 1 million beach carts?
Wow.
Yeah, you'd have to hire some people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Anyway,
Work
on that,
It's a
Brian.
great idea, though.
I just want 10%. That's all I want.
10%
for the
I
idea.
got you. Yeah, I got you.
Everybody keeps trying to take your business today.
Copyright
fishing
Matthew
with him this
Isabel,
morning.
2024. He said that.
That's right.
That's the deal.
Documented. Yeah.
That's funny.
So somebody gave him another idea.
Well, no, we were me, him, and James fished on the beach this morning, and he was talking about like this machinery or equipment or something he could get, but it's like very expensive. And James was like, "I'll give you 10 grand, or I'll pitch in 10 grand." I was like, "I'll throw in 10 grand at it." And James was like, "But I want 25%." I was like, "Me too."
Yeah, 50%'s going already.
Yeah.
It's off the table.
Just for $20,000 investment.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
We're all coming after you.
Yeah.
I know, right?
What got you into building all these? I mean, obviously you've been welding for a while. I know you used to do like handrails and stuff before, right?
I did in my shop when I started out. So my background, I worked in racing for 18 years,
Oh, cool.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that about
Yeah,
you.
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I worked on various teams. I started in High Point actually at Bill Davis Racing, and then I finished my career at Hendrick Motorsports. We were building race cars for Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Hey.
Casey Kane.
pretty sweet.
A lot of those guys. And I loved that career. It was a great career. Met a lot of people, went a lot of places. But then there's just always something inside me, man. I was just like, I want to do my own thing,
Right.
Then when I did open my shop, I was doing anything and everything under the sun. But what really turned Deerfield into surf fishing, I've never owned a cart that you buy at a store. I've never personally owned any fishing gear that you've ever bought from a store. I've always made my own.
Sure.
And after about, I don't know, a little 8 months into having Deerfield, I made a sand spike. And I posted a picture of it on my Deerfield page. I'll never forget it. It was on July the 3rd. July the 4th, we were at a pool party. And me and my wife, we get there. We had not looked at our phones all morning. We woke up to over 250 messages overnight.
Really?
Where do I get that and how much is it?
Dang.
We were looking at each other like, all right, Deerfield is a surf fishing company
Yeah.
now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's where it took the turning point of
Sure.
let's go.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
And you were just hanging out with Matt, weren't you?
Yes.
Ninja.
Yeah, Matt from Ninja. We were at the Outer Banks last week.
So you were fishing up there, I'm assuming?
Yes.
It looked like you were. Did y'all do any
we
good?
went up there with the family for spring break, and Matt was there with his family as well. And we got a little bit of fishing in. Matt took me around to some tackle stores, introduced me to a lot of people.
Okay.
And we did get some fishing in. We would have loved to have caught puppy drum and big drum, anything like that. We did catch a few sharks, and then on the last day we caught a bunch of puffer fish. We had grills on the beach and
Grilled
we
them up?
ate. Oh man, they were delicious.
That's so fun about Outer Banks. That was the first time that I experienced that because
He was telling me about when you were there. Yeah,
man, it was cool. Caught a Spanish and we had some sheep's head and cooked it up right there on the beach. It was so good. I mean, just the experience
Right.
overall. Yeah, everybody's got their trucks back up, pull out the Blackstone.
it's pretty nice just rolling right
I
up to where you
know.
want to fish,
I
isn't it?
know. It gets a little crowded, but it's kind of fun though too because
Yeah.
everybody's there to do the same thing.
That's when that little fire pit would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stack it up real
Oh
quick.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
do you already have some of your products in those tackle stores in the Outer Banks?
I do in one. It's called Hatteras Jacks.
Okay, yeah.
And they're looking to do more. They want carts. They want front
Yeah.
receiver racks.
Yeah,
so-
everybody up there has front. And
Yeah.
and so I asked that question. Why did you put it on the front? Because it seems like it's in the way. When you're driving down the road with rods in the
Yeah.
front. I was like, why wouldn't you put it in the back? But you know why they do that?
I don't.
I want to see your answer.
Oh, okay. Well, I asked Matt, and I'm like, well, it's because you can drive on the beach, so they fish, and so that when it's like terrible conditions outside, they just sit in the cab of the truck. They got their baits out
Right.
in front. And when they get a bite or
yeah.
something, just
If
hop out of the
it's
truck.
nasty,
I'm
I
like,
can sit in air conditioning. I can sit in heat.
I know.
And I can just watch
Yeah.
a rod
I'm
go
like,
off.
that's pretty
Genius.
sweet.
Yeah.
Like, just sit there, drink beer
Yeah.
in the cab of the truck, and
Yeah.
the wind's blowing. You don't want to be in the wind or whatever. Just fish.
Yeah.
Sounds like
It's
my
like-
kind of fishing.
Okay.
I've actually got a rack on the front of my truck out there.
Oh,
so,
do you? Okay.
Yeah. Might have to take a picture and put a little snap in the podcast. People be
Right.
like, "What
Yeah.
is that? What are they
Yeah.
talking about?"
Yeah,
sure.
the front right, because it just didn't make sense to me. Because driving down the road, it looks like, oh, that'd be annoying with the
Yeah.
rods,
Yeah.
freaking right in your face. But for fishing, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
It's super nice for sure. And that's another thing, just like the carts, there's so much customization. Everybody wants a rack that this size, this many rod holders, putting sand spikes in,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff like that. And actually, Matt from Ninja, he's gonna have me build a rack for him and a couple other guys. You know, Ninja, he's got his posse.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah. He's got a crew. Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's got a crew, and I've met a lot of those guys. So all of them are switching over to Deerfield racks.
There you go.
They can
Nice.
get
Okay.
what they want, and it's
That's right.
customized.
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Well, and they're gonna love it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
Your
that's
stuff
awesome.
is so cool. The cart that I use, I mean, seriously, what I do a lot of the time when I'm walking down the beach, I just push it, like give it a hard push, and it'll roll, and I'm just walking. It's like
Yeah.
it's motorized.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Right.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't even have to hardly do
I
anything.
know. I had to use. We went fishing in Pickens yesterday, and I used a fishing mate cart.
Oh yeah.
And I was walking it down the beach. And I'm like,
We love you, fishing mate. I mean, we sell some of your products.
know.
But, yeah.
After like, obviously the upgrade to that when
Yeah,
you start
it's different.
at the very bottom, and then you get to the fishing mate, you're like, man, this is awesome. But then when you have a Deerfield and you go back to the 2-wheeled fishing mate, you're like, this is miserable. I hate my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Give me my
tough.
Deerfield cart.
It's tough.
I have a lot of guys, speaking of the fishing mate cart, because, everybody's had one, you used one for
Oh, yeah.
years, so did you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to 4 tires, it's just a game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only pushing, as long as you have good wheels and bearings and, it's going to roll well. But a lot of people contemplate, do I upgrade my fishing mate or do I just buy a Deerfield cart? And it depends on how far you want to go with it because the options are endless.
Yeah.
But
And I guess that's something I don't guess we've touched on yet, but obviously you do make the custom carts, but you do make accessories. If you don't want to spend
Right.
however much a full cart is, and you just want to, you already have the fishing mate, you want to get some upgrades, you can get a lift kit for it, right? Do you have a lift kit
Right.
for the fishing mate?
Yep.
Or
Lift
the extra axle,
storage handle,
storage
you can add
handles,
all
the,
that stuff.
The
add a second axle, put 4 tires
yeah,
on it. You
can get the sand spike holder.
Yeah. Now, if you want to go ahead and just like get every option under the sun, now you probably need to be thinking about just buying a cart.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you can throw a fishing mate on Facebook Marketplace and it'll be
You could sell it. Oh,
gone
yeah. So
real
easy.
quick,
Yeah.
you know.
People are looking for those things all the time.
yeah. So
Yeah, and it will legitimately, it is a product that I will say will help you catch more fish because you're going to be a lot more willing to move and
Right.
and walk further or get away from people, actually walk to that rip that's, an extra 400 yards or whatever. Whereas like if you're dragging a beach cart that's just a pain in the butt, you're like, yeah, I'm not going to.
I'm not moving anywhere.
it's no
Yeah.
joke. I mean, you definitely get fatigued walking the beach. I mean, and lugging gear. But, you know, when it's just effortless for you to walk and push all that gear. And, you know, sometimes I know y'all go with a light load. Like Yakking with Jack was there yesterday. And, I mean, he's got coolers and a drone and, like,
Right.
all this
yeah.
gear. And it's just
Yeah.
like, dude, you're packing out. Like, you're pushing a lot of that. And it's still effortless.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like the cart you built for Coastal Worldwide.
Oh, man.
That thing is insane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's intense, man.
Like my cart is big, but my cart would fit inside of their cart.
yeah.
Right.
It's intense, man.
Yeah, it is nuts.
Did they ever weigh or did they tell you a guesstimate of how much weight they put in that thing?
So
with
they
everything?
did one video and they guesstimated 500 pounds. And I know, I mean, good Lord, the baits that they're using.
Right.
Oh
I mean, they're
my
using like whole
gosh. I mean,
tuna.
they're
Yeah.
using tuna heads that are just like this.
Right.
It's nuts. And they'll have a whole cooler with like 10 of them things in there.
Yeah.
I'd hate to know
then the
just
big-
what that was.
I know.
Using the big 80 wides and 50s,
Yeah.
like all that adds
That
up
is
real
work, man.
quick.
That is that's the hardest guiding
Yeah.
that you can do.
They got the tents and chairs.
Not that I had all the gear that Coastal did, but last year we were at Oak Island on a family trip, and I had my cart, which it's a beast too. It's not as big as a frame as Coastal's, but the whole family, and I'm like, yep, throw it on the cart. You know, we had 2 easy up tents, 10 by 10s, stacked on top, and all that stuff. When I got home, I was curious. I was like, I want to weigh all this gear. I want to know how much I just put on there. I had over 400 pounds
Dang.
on my cart.
That's a lot.
That's
and
crazy.
not only that, now this was a flat surface, but my 5-year-old was pushing that.
Really?
My 5-year-old.
I mean, that's
that
real.
was on a flat grade,
Right.
you know, pretty packed
Yeah.
sand, but still at 400 pounds. It's
that's
a lot of
crazy.
weight.
Well, I don't have 400 pounds, but you can, even with all my crap, like you can push it with one.
Oh,
finger.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Easy.
mean,
Oh,
realistically,
Kelton
you
pulls
know,
mine.
I don't know that anybody's putting really 100 pounds.
If I had to
gear?
guess, I don't think I'm at 100.
Yeah.
If I'm guessing, and I probably have more than most
Yeah.
in there, like because I take a lot of crap. But like, if I had to guess, it's maybe 50 pounds,
Yeah.
maybe a little more. I don't know, but it's like if the family's going, Annalise rides on there with my gear, and it still doesn't feel any different.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, not long after we had moved here, I had bought one of the fishing mates, and I just had 2 kids at the time, and we went to the beach. And with 2 kids, you just have so much stuff. At the time, I think both of them might have still been napping. So we would take a whole pack and play. So we had that, we had a tent, of course, cooler for beer and food, and just all the stuff and the fishing stuff. And it's like middle of summer. I'm already like miserable pulling this thing down the beach. And then one of the tires falls off of it. When the tire falls off, all the things fall over on the side. I'm like, this is like the worst experience in the world.
What cart was that?
It was the fishing mate.
How did the tire fall off?
The thing,
Was it one of the pins or something?
yeah, it's just got like the split ring or whatever.
Yeah.
It had like rusted out or bent or something. I think it was bent, and so it ended up just wiggling its way back.
Yeah.
And the tire fall off, and when the tire fell off, the rims or whatever on them like clip in.
Yeah.
And that had like came off. So I'm like trying to figure out how to get that back together. It was
Well, my axle broke on my fishing mate. I was in South Florida. I don't even know how. Like, I don't really understand how that happened, but it just split in the middle. So I had
wow.
to. Yeah, I think I told you about that. I had to drag. So I mean, obviously, you're toast. So I was close, but I was probably another couple hundred yards from the walk-in. and so I just had to drag it. It was awful.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a good day for sure.
No.
Well, how'd y'all do today? Y'all fished today. How'd that go?
I got fish in the cooler.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I
a
have
good
a
day.
I have a fish in the cooler, so got one pump.
How big was your pump?
14 to the fort.
Okay, so what
Yeah,
was
it's
it?
decent.
16 total, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't.
Probably.
Give it a tail,
It was
but-
fat too. It was a good
Yeah, it
one.
was a good pump.
That's nice fish. And
About the same size as my whiting.
Wait, we actually
Yeah,
we actually droned out for whiting.
Yeah.
So you caught the whiting.
The
on
whiting was
drone?
on the back side of the bar.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you have any baits in the
Yeah.
front? You did.
He got his pompano was in front.
Yeah.
Backwards day, dude.
I know.
That's weird.
Whiting in the back, pomp in the front.
Not the
Oh, it was
norm.
nuts. When I saw that rod go off, I'm just like, that's got to be a pump.
Yeah, when it went on
And then
his.
it was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good whiting.
It was
wasn't
like 16 inches.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
huge, man.
So it was like it was a decent little hit, and then I was like right behind the bar. So then it's like it feels so weird dragging it back up the bar, and
Yeah.
you're like the weight's dragging, and I was like, I don't know if I do have a fish on here. And I finally got it over the bar, and when it got in that trough, it started fighting again. And I was like, it's got to be a pump. And then I saw it flash once. I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely a pump. And then it got like right up to the beach. I was like, holy crap, that's a giant whiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I caught a puffer fish today, or a rabbit fish.
nice.
Which is
Nice.
unusual. I mean,
Now, do you eat them?
I've never tried it. I almost kept it, but like, are the rabbit fish? Are they the ones that do have poison? Like, or you have to clean it correctly?
I've
Now-
heard something about them
toxins.
having something
That's
like
a
that.
good
but-
topic because
I don't know.
after the Outer Banks, and I was telling people about, me and Matt, we grilled up some puffer fish. They're like, I thought that was poisonous. And I'm like, Matt knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Now, I messed up because he was over at his truck filleting these things. He said, like, you cut the head off and then you kind of peel them back. And I didn't go over there to watch. And I was just like, dang it.
Should've
I didn't
learned.
watch him fillet that.
Yeah.
But it was delicious.
Yeah,
But
I've
I
heard it's
do.
good.
We didn't
I have
die,
heard
so-
that there's different types.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a poisonous one and a non. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if rabbit. I've heard they're good, like rabbit
Yeah.
fish. It's a smooth puffer, the rabbit fish.
Okay.
And I've heard they're good. And usually they hang like you start seeing them when the cobia are running around. So that's usually an indicator. But that was kind of an interesting.
So you're
catch.
going cobia fishing this weekend.
I would love to. I just around here I just don't feel like
Put a
using-
tower on your boat.
I know.
It's about time for that, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple boats doing it. We fished Pickens yesterday. When I was leaving Pickens, you could tell some boats were looking for them.
Yeah. I know it's just tough around here, from what I hear. I've never done it, but I hear it's not what it used to be. But at Navarre Pier, they catch a decent amount every year.
Yeah.
It seems like, and they try to keep it as quiet as possible. I mean,
Right.
obviously they'll post some, but
Yeah.
like you don't know how many they're actually catching. And I think
I know they've caught at least one this year.
yeah, I've seen that. And then the guy, did you see the one that the guy caught it from the beach or he paddleboarded out?
Yeah.
I think he would use a drone to spot
Well,
it,
that's what we were saying this
which
morning.
I think is illegal in Florida, by the way.
I'd try it.
So the dude got on a paddleboard and paddled out.
To my understanding, so I think they were on the beach. They were on the beach fishing, and he had a drone, and they saw a big ray, and I think they saw the cobia on the ray, and so I think he took a paddleboard out and threw a lure at it.
Wow.
Is it illegal if you're just flying your drone, trying to get some cool shots, you happen to see a cobia, so you're like, I might as well
Right.
go try to catch it?
I
He wasn't actively searching for a
I
cobia?
could be wrong. I need to look it up. But I think to spot fish with a drone instead of Florida, like I think yes, that would be illegal.
Even though that's what you were doing.
But it is what you're doing if you.
No, you're
if
just
you
flying
spot-
around and you happen to see it, and you're like, oh, crap.
And I just happened
But
to have some
but
cobia gear
that's
here.
what you're doing. Like,
Not if you're not trying to.
well, you wouldn't.
If he was just flying
Okay.
a drone trying to
It would
get
be-
some cool footage.
I feel like it would be the same thing as if you're spotlighting deer. Okay, if you're walking through the woods and you have a gun with you,
But no,
and you spot, oh, I happen to see a deer and I'll shoot it. Versus if you don't have a gun and you're just
well,
walking
you're
through
going
the woods
deer
with a-
hunting.
Well, if
he
you
was
just-
obviously at the
But what if you
beach
just
with
walk?
his family.
If you're just walking through the woods with a flashlight and no gun, okay, you're not hunting.
Maybe
Like,
he dropped his keys. He's looking for his keys in the woods, man. He's like,
Yeah.
where'd them keys
yeah,
go?
but
Oh,
yeah.
there's a dude.
But
Boom.
it's illegal to spotlight a deer because they don't want you to shoot deer at night.
Well, they don't want
That's
you to.
the illegal part is shooting deer at night.
Well, sure, but it's still.
He was not fishing at an illegal time.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's no different. So
But
if
by
I-
illegal means, if it is in fact illegal, I don't.
like if I was at the beach and every now and then I'll fly my drone and add some drone footage to a video. So if I'm flying my drone around, just trying to get some B-roll for a video or whatever, and I'm not playing, like I might already be done fishing, but I happen to see something, and I'm like, why am I not going to go throwing that?
Well, I understand that. I would feel the same way.
Right.
I don't think FWC
But-
is going to get you for.
Well, I just need to look.
Maybe
it
if
up.
you're like actively doing that, like what they do in South Florida.
But there's no way to.
That's different. The mullet run is different because you're literally driving to a spot, flying a drone, looking for fish. If they're not there, you go to the next one, fly a drone, look
Yeah.
for fish.
Nobody would do that.
No, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody in South Florida.
That's so unfair.
Sounds like something Black Tip H would do.
I gotta look it up. Y'all talk about something. I gotta see if is it
No,
illegal.
I mean I get what you're saying, and I think I have heard that is illegal, but I just feel like one, FWC is probably not going to stop you for that little bit, but if you're not actively searching for fish with the drone, like if you're just flying around, just
Okay, there
getting a cool
is
video.
no way. Like that's not gonna work. Like if you have fishing gear and you're flying a drone and you see fish and you use it to go catch it, like
So
that
you're
is-
supposed to just refrain from going and catching them. What would you do?
I would go and catch the fish, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying. If it's illegal, it's illegal. I
Yeah.
don't
All
know.
right, we need to get the wildlife officer in here. We'll
Right?
settle this.
FWC, come on in.
Yeah.
No, I mean I get it, and I said I'm sure it is illegal.
He's just
but-
going to go ahead and write us all warnings.
Here, I'm trying to find this. I just don't know the best way to like.
So you said when you got started, like with surf fishing, you posted that picture, you got all these messages. You live on the East Coast, so was a lot of that East Coast, or did you have a lot of Panhandle people? Like where? Because obviously you said
From the
you're
beginning,
major
that
here
was
now, but
that was a little bit more localized. And we didn't have a ton of followers at the time. I mean, maybe like 1,000 or something,
Yeah.
you know. But for some reason, that got the shares is what did it. I posted the picture, and it just kept getting shared overnight. It got shared like 60 some odd times. So like, I mean, you know, everybody's got probably 1,000 friends and this
Right.
and that, and it just multiplied, and we were just floored by all the response from it, you know.
yeah. What first, I guess, initially got you here? Like, how'd you get into this area?
The area, I mean,
Because
you know,
I think when I met you, I think you came down for one of like Blaine's first tournament, maybe.
I did, but we had talked before that. To be honest with you, I think you're one of the first guys I ever talked
Was it?
to down here. It might have been.
Because I was trying to think, like, so I know when y'all came down that trip, you gave me the tubular ones, but I guess you had already sent me. You sent
you had
me
a
and
handle.
Matt.
I gave you a handle, remember?
That's right. You gave me a handle,
Yeah.
and you'd sent me and Matt the spikes that had our names on.
Right.
I just don't remember time frame when that was.
okay,
Matt's got an answer.
based on what I'm seeing, it's illegal to use a drone to fish in the state of Florida.
Just
So
all together.
so
Or for just for
So if
spotting.
you're doing
you
it,
can-
just
you can-
go put the
so
drone back in your truck.
It talks about and these are like articles. Like I'm not necessarily finding it on
like FWC's website.
So take that with a grain of salt. But like the couple of articles have differentiated between taking a line out, which is fine. Like it's saying that like as long as the line's attached to it and you're dropping it, that's fine. But Florida has strict regulations that are designed to protect the state. Blah, blah, blah. According to Florida state law, it is illegal to use a drone to fish in state waters. This is because drones are considered to be a form of motorized watercraft, and the use of motorized watercraft for fishing is heavily regulated. So, I don't know why, but for that
Interesting.
purpose. But if you're caught using a drone to fish in Florida, you could face serious penalties. The exact penalties will depend on the circumstances of the violation, but they can include fines, confiscation of equipment, and even criminal charges.
I don't think you're going to get criminal charges.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to take a drone. FWC is really pretty cool.
You think so? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it probably just depends.
I've never really had.
Situation.
Like I've had run-ins with FWC, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've never had them or any of them are like.
Yeah, I think you've got a FWC magnet.
You do have
somewhere
They
in
got
you.
a tracker up my
Hey,
rear end or something.
you were talking about your homeowners association. You said that like you've been dealing with them.
Yeah.
It seems like you like any type of
Yeah, what's the
I'm a
deal,
rule
man?
breaker, I guess.
any
I
type,
like to push the boundaries.
any type of authority around here.
Well, so all right, we're gonna get off topic for what we were just talking about, but we'll talk about the homeowners for a little bit.
Hey, comment below if you have any information on drone fishing if it's illegal
Yeah.
in the state of Florida.
Somebody will know.
Sorry, go ahead.
So we moved into a new neighborhood not too terribly long ago, and I haven't lived. I grew up on a farm until I was like 19, so I didn't. I mean, I had rules for my parents, obviously, but anybody that's ever lived in a neighborhood with an HOA, you gotta know that the HOA is just like there's a couple Karens, and you can't if one blade of grass is out of line, like somebody's calling you or something. They're just a pain. Do y'all have one? Or
We
is your
do.
name-
We do.
but they're pretty lax.
Yeah, we're small.
Like, did you have to get approval for your?
We're a small neighborhood. I mean, you're probably supposed to.
Okay, but you didn't.
But we
So
did.
you broke the rule too.
I'm sure we did.
So,
Yeah.
so the first thing, so the biggest problem I have, or it's not a problem that I have with it, but why it's a problem for me is we are renting, and so there's the homeowner, but then I go through a property management company, and so I have to deal with the property management, which also has obligations
Sure.
of making sure their tenants are
Yeah.
following the rules. However, the homeowner is really good friends with my neighbor who knew who I was and doesn't really care. Not that they don't care what I do, but like what I'm getting letters for is stupid, and the homeowner does not care. But I don't deal with the homeowner. I deal with the property management company. So I obviously have a boat, and before I moved in, it's got a big fenced-in yard, and I was like, "Can I park my boat here?" He said yes. I was like, "Cool." And I was told by a lot of neighbors, all the neighbors, that you can also park boats or trailers or there's so many things that like are against the rule there. But as far as parking trailers wise, you can have them parked visible for 48 hours at a time.
Right.
Otherwise, trailers need to not be visible, like the backyard. And so it's usually in the backyard. However, if I come home from fishing and I know I am going back the next day, I don't worry about backing it in the backyard. I just put it in the front yard.
Yeah.
And we have a pretty big side yard too. And so instead of trying to back the thing up in the driveway, I would just park it in the side yard, wash it off there, and just leave it there. And so I would get like a message from the property managers like, "Hey, we got a letter, blah blah blah," and then I finally got like they sent me the official letter, and it says notice number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
All
And
about
it
the
has
boat.
a picture. It has a picture of my truck and boat sitting in my side yard, and it says you broke whatever code regulation, blah 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 blah. Cannot have trailers parked visible for more than 48 hours, which doesn't happen. If it's there, it's just one night.
Yeah.
And so I messaged the guy back, and I was like, "I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not trying to be a pain, but the letter that you just sent me says that I can't do that for more than 48 hours, and I was not there for more than 48 hours. I left the next morning, and then I came back and put it in the backyard. And all the neighbors say if it's 48 hours, you go drive around for a day and come back. Like,
yeah.
obviously, there's a lot of gray area in the
Sure,
48-hour
sure.
part. But regardless, it's not sitting there for like a week at a time and not moving.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Well, it might have been because you're on the sidewalk." I was like, the letter literally says nothing about a sidewalk. Because I would park there and like might have
It's sticking
some of the
out.
tires
Yeah,
or something or
yeah.
blocking the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I was like, I get that if it's a sidewalk, but that doesn't say anything about the sidewalk. And he was like, well, it might be because there's sprinklers in the yard. I'm like, well, it doesn't say anything about sprinklers.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I need to know where can I park the boat? If it's because the sidewalk, tell me it's the sidewalk, and I'll just park it in the driveway. If it's an issue with it just being out, like tell me something. But the letter that you just sent me literally makes no sense because I didn't break that rule. And again, I'm not trying to argue, but they're acting like I'm going to get a fine
For something that you
that I didn't even do.
Right.
another. So after I told him all that, I haven't heard anything else about the boat and trailer.
So
But-
like HOAs, and I'll say, like, when I was in high school, we had a board too, which is kind of the same thing. And like people that are in those positions, I feel like, and hopefully none of our listeners, and maybe they are HOA members or whatever, and this is gonna be offensive, but like they've done nothing really in their life.
Right.
And to like be proud of, or to have power or whatever, and they like, because think about it, like the people that you know that have things going on that are successful and have made something of themselves. Do you think they're volunteering to be on the HOA for their neighborhood, or for a school board, or
Yeah.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? Like they ain't got time for that crap. I'm just saying, like
I'm gonna go spend all my free time to make sure people are miserable.
Like they just and they wield it, and it's just
Yeah.
like, and it's a stereotype, but it's like I think the most pure and true stereotype that just always holds true for every HOA, for every, like, it's always the same group of people.
Right.
It's these people that like want to achieve something in life and never did, but
Yeah.
here's my chance to just piss on everybody else.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
and I get it. Like, okay, you don't want your neighborhood looking like trash.
right.
I get that.
You don't want rundown stuff. And I left it there, and
But-
grass is growing around it. But
But I need an example. But it's just like you take it too far, man. Like way too far. Like come on.
Yeah.
This is
I
ridiculous.
wonder if we could get like a national average of names of HOA
Karen.
board members. Yeah.
Karen's running.
Sorry,
be
Karen.
funny.
We love
Yeah.
Karens.
Yeah.
True Karens.
Well, but that wasn't my.
You're
only
not
run-in.
an HOA member, are you?
No.
Okay, you don't strike me as one.
So we have about right at 3 acres
Okay.
on our property.
You're not in
and,
like a neighborhood or whatever.
No, we're on a private road,
Yeah.
and that's where Deerfield's at actually. So
Oh, okay.
Deerfield is right behind my house.
Gotcha.
So I built a shop back there, and it's pretty nice. I have a very short commute to work.
Yeah, just roll out of bed, walk out the door.
Yep.
Nice.
And a very short commute home. So it's
No
nice.
traffic?
And drink beer. Nobody
Yeah,
tells you to
no
drink
no
beer.
traffic.
You can drink and walk to work.
I know. It's
You can drink
amazing.
and walk home from work.
So you've
If
had
I
some.
drink and walk to work, it's probably not a lot of work.
It happens. It happens. Well, I guess we're technically working right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if this
True.
counts, but I don't know.
You don't have to go weld up a beach cart though when you get done.
No,
No.
we don't have to do that.
No.
So you've had some other violations, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. So what else?
Yeah,
Right.
so-
We're getting the
Such
whole
a
rap
rebel.
sheet here.
And you know what's funny too? We haven't talked about this. So Brad, it's notorious. Like if you watch his videos, like he's always getting in trouble with the law, FWC,
Yeah.
state troopers,
A rebel.
game wardens.
Most of which
Whatever.
I'm not even really doing anything wrong.
Right, you attract it or whatever. I'm driving down the road headed to go fish one day, and here's Brad pulled over on the side
Oh,
of the
jeez.
road. I'm like, Brad, like
I take
you just
full
can't
responsibility for that
Get
one.
away! Did he give you a ticket that
No.
day? Okay.
And so he never said anything, but he had to have known who I was. Had to. Because it's a construction zone right there.
Yeah.
I'm not paying it. I drive that road every
Sure.
freaking day going to. We were going to fish that day, so I had my fishing stuff in the back. I actually had my son in the back, who thought it was like hilarious that Dad got pulled over.
Right, of course.
And had to tell his mom as soon as she got out. But so it's a construction zone. I'm bad at paying attention to I'm bad at paying attention to how fast I'm going, but I'm also bad about paying attention to what the actual speed limit is.
I
on
have
the
no
road.
clue, yeah.
Like I just assume everywhere's
just
45.
It's just a feel.
Like
I
everywhere's
just
got to be
feel-
45.
Yeah.
And so if it's 45, I'm usually going 50.
Right.
Or a little bit more. But it's a construction zone, which I didn't pay attention to. So technically it was 35. And I'm not paying any attention. And I'm going like 57. And so he pulls me over. He's like, "Sir, do you know you were speeding?" I was like, "Yeah, probably." And he was like, "Well, you were going 57 and a 35, and it was a construction zone." I'm like, "God, crap." He's like, "You got your insurance?" I was like, "No, my wife."
No.
my wife has the app.
Yeah.
Courtney handles all that.
I don't.
So was
I don't
like-
either. Like technology
So I
is
had to
supposed to make
text
it
Courtney
easy.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, send me
I don't
my
have it.
insurance.
Yeah.
And so I got it, whatever, and everything was cool. But like when he first came to the car, when I rolled the window down, he kind of had like a smirk, like a little grin. But then when he came, like he took and ran all my stuff, and he was like, I see you got a perfectly clean record, which is not true. And he was like, so I'm just going to give you a warning. Just make sure you're slowing down next time. And I was like, cool, I really appreciate it. But most, like if he had no idea who I was, I would assume most cops, if you're going 22 over in a construction zone,
Probably getting a ticket.
most cops are going to give you a ticket.
Yeah.
And I got a ticket. It could be 2 years ago. I don't know how long tickets stay in your record.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would it be 2 years?
Yeah.
I got a ticket on Beach Express. Beach Express is a bad one because it's so easy, especially on the way back.
Yes.
You're like, I just got off going 90 on
I know.
I-10. You think I'm going to
Yeah.
drive 55 on Beach
Yeah.
Express?
No, and they're waiting for you too.
Yeah.
Like they know.
And
it.
that's the troopers. The
One
troopers.
thing-
State
You're
trooper will give you a ticket every time.
You're getting a ticket.
You're not getting out.
One thing I will say, because obviously I don't live here, I do come here a couple times a year. Y'all's speed limits around here, my gosh,
Yeah.
you better watch out. And like, there's cops everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going from 55 to 45 to 35 and like 100 foot sometimes. Like, it's crazy. Like,
Most cops, Orange Beach Gulf Shores, are not going to pull you over unless you're going like 15 or more over.
Right.
Like they're pretty chill on the speeding. Beach Express, and even, I mean, the time I got pulled over and got a ticket on Beach Express, I was going 20 over there too. I was going 75, but so was everybody else.
obviously,
Beach
you
Express
like
is
testing the
it's,
limits.
and I just got off I-10.
I know.
It's basically another
It's like
interstate.
an extension of the interstate.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he let me out of speeding in the construction and said I had a clean record when I know I just got a ticket a year or two ago, I was like, I assumed he may not. Maybe he was being nice that day.
Maybe so.
All right, Matt.
But
We've heard the bearded Brad rap sheet. Like,
I still got
you
two more.
some
Yeah,
history?
yeah. Brad's not even done.
Do we need to clear the air over here too? Like,
I'm pretty clean. I
Pretty
think.
clean?
Yeah.
you ever been in handcuffs?
No.
Really?
No. I'm trying to think of. You know, I'm not a rebel like
Right,
you, man.
right.
I pretty much follow the rules.
Yeah. My the second HOA letter we
Have you
got-
been in handcuffs?
Yeah,
Really?
twice.
man,
Twice?
twice.
Brad's been in
This
handcuffs
is
twice.
getting deep. We're
Dude,
gonna be here.
I'm
for a
about to
while.
have to roll, and
Yeah.
you got
Well,
some good.
we'll save the handcuffs for another one.
Yes.
We got to finish the HOA though.
Okay.
So the other one with the HOA, you know, I got 5 kids, which generally equates to a lot of stuff.
Do they have a limit on kids? The HOA?
Okay, yes, they do. There's a new rule.
What is this, China?
There's
What?
a new rule at the pool. A new rule at the pool. 2 people per household.
Wow.
What?
Swear.
Yeah,
Two,
you're
pe-
And no
two,
alcohol.
two
Two.
people?
2 people per
So like a
household.
couple.
No alcohol.
Like you can't even have a couple and a kid.
And unless it's 2 kids, it's literally 2 because my neighbors were losing their minds about it. I'm gonna have to find it.
Wow.
2 people.
2 people and no alcohol. I'm
So,
like,
like-
we live at the beach. You
so
can't go drink by the pool.
Even my family, like me, my wife, and my daughter, couldn't go to the pool. Is that my understanding?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
That makes zero
I'm
sense.
about to
Yeah.
search it real quick because
I mean,
it's all
you
over.
have
Who's
a
gonna go to the
household
pool?
of
Facebook
3,
page.
Yeah.
and you wouldn't be able to visit your own pool.
Yeah, like that's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
Karens.
But one of the other ones with the it's gonna take me forever to find that thing about the pool. But it was funny you said that. But so with all the kids and obviously all the fishing stuff, and I got a boat and boat stuff, like there's just not enough room for all our stuff. So I'm like, we really need a shed. And I was like, I don't want to spend a ton of money on like one of the big sheds, or I don't feel like building one. So went to Lowe's, you know, they have like those plastic, you just like put it together sheds.
Pop it up.
And so I bought it. We put it up. Not even 12 hours later, property manager texts me, "Hey, heard you got a shed. Sheds have to get approved. Has to have a shingle roof. Color has to match the house.
Oh my gosh.
And you got to send all the drawings and where you're going to put it in the yard and get it approved by the board."
Dang.
I was like, seriously? Where it's at, you cannot see it from the road. You can see it for like a split second when you're driving down the road because I put it where nobody could see it.
Right.
There's 2 neighbors, and I know which one it is. And he may listen. He's a fisherman. He knows who I am. But I don't know if he actually listens to our podcast.
Don't be a tattletale, man. Come on. Don't be ratting people out
If
to
he
the
does
HOA.
listen, then you're like deeper
But,
on his list.
I
now.
know, now
I was gonna
he's-
get even worse.
He's not going to listen.
No, I don't care. I talked to his wife the other day. She was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Is her name Karen?
Probably. But
Are they on the HOA? Do you know?
no, because our HOA, DR Horton is still building. So DR Horton actually controls the HOA for now.
Oh, okay.
Until they're
So it's-
done
so it's
building,
not-
then it passes over to the homeowners.
Gotcha.
People can still report,
Right.
but the board is like there's another management company running it right now. But so I got that letter. obviously, I didn't do anything about it, and so the shed's still there. Nobody said anything else. The latest one.
You just told on yourself. Somebody's gonna report.
That's right. If you live in my neighborhood and you call on me, I will find you.
I know a lot of people that live in your neighborhood. Like basically,
it seems like everybody lives in my neighborhood.
yeah, like, seriously.
And it's really not even that big, but everybody lives
It's a
there.
pretty big neighborhood. It's pretty big.
How many houses do you?
Oh,
have?
I have no idea.
It's pretty big.
I mean, it's bigger than your
100?
neighborhood's tiny.
Well,
but
yeah, but like I feel like it's pretty big.
we have huge neighborhoods in Middle Tennessee. So I think of like,
well, yeah.
but
But seriously, like 90% of our gym, I feel like,
that's funny.
goes to.
There's a lot of drama in my neighborhood too.
Oh yeah, like what? Like what?
Like a lot of stuff. Some of it I can't say. Some of it's like super inappropriate.
What? Like I mean,
Like young kids that are being investigated for certain things, and
oh really? Like kids involved.
a lot of adults doing some things and
Well,
divorces and
well, I mean, that kind of stuff.
upside down pineapple stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I feel like that's probably everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just obviously depending on the culture of it.
Right.
It probably didn't get talked about as much.
Yeah.
I feel like Orange Beach is
Seems
big
like
and-
it. From everybody, I mean, I don't.
people listening to this
I
podcast.
don't know that I know somebody. I mean, I'm sure I know somebody.
It's just such a
I've
weird.
not had an open conversation with anybody that I know that does it.
Yeah.
But everybody you talk to, they're like, "Oh yeah, everybody in Orange Beach." I'm like, "Not me."
I know. It's such an like weird thing to me. Like I
Yeah.
just don't like. I don't get it, man. Like I mean, I understand, I guess, from a but like actually doing that, like,
Right.
how uncomfortable would that be?
I just couldn't imagine like, especially men. Like everybody thinks about like, oh, how cool would this thing be or whatever. But
Yeah,
like
but in
can
reality-
you imagine like actually doing it and then waking up to your wife the next morning?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I would feel so violated.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But-
That's
Enough
definitely
about
not.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have some weird stuff. Oh, sorry.
Now you're gonna hold it.
Yeah. But well, I need to.
before
I
you
need to
leave-
roll. I need to roll it.
All right, real quick before you leave, the last HOA notice I got was
Oh, you
because
see, we're still not done with
the
HOA.
last one
Dang.
is because I had a basketball goal,
So like,
and it's on the road. Like it's not on the road; it's on the sidewalk. But my kids
is it like
play.
one of the like roll around
Yeah.
ones?
You're supposed to put it up every night.
So pretty much you just
We
can't
drove
do
around. There's
anything.
17 basketball goals in my neighborhood that you can see.
Wow.
And no, I've talked to my neighbors that have them. None of them have got a letter. Only me.
Well, you're on the list, dude.
Yeah, you're a high profile.
I've only
Yeah,
lived
yeah.
there like 4 or 5 months.
well, that's
Yeah.
why you all these violations. As soon as you get there,
I
like
know we
keep tabs on this
So
dude.
Kelton's birthday party was Saturday. We got like this giant.
Oh, I'm sure
freaking
you
blow
broke
up.
100
It was like
rolls.
20 foot tall.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You're getting a letter.
when the guy came to set it up, it was like way bigger than I thought. And I was like, are we supposed to get approval for this? And Courtney's like, I don't know. I was like,
surprised he can let
somebody's gonna call.
Yeah, I'm surprised
And
he
then
can.
there's like 100 freaking kids running around, and this neighbor drives by. He rolls down a window and he takes a picture of it. I was like,
there it is. There it is. Going to HOA.
the guy was like, he was kind of laughing about it. So I don't know. Like it looked like big shark mouth and stuff. I don't know if he thought it was cool, or maybe it's a creeper because it was an old guy taking
Yeah,
a picture of a bunch of kids on a bounce.
There's a lot of wrong.
I was like, there's the HOA guy. I'm gonna get a call. I haven't gotten a call yet, so maybe I'll.
Well,
maybe I'll pass it
we
on.
got like 100 letters from the city when we were building this place.
Oh, yeah,
It's
dude,
just
it's-
like what these
can't do
these
anything around
people,
here.
dude.
Yeah.
Like, golly, and I get it. I know you can't be doing just whatever you want, but like,
It's the past rap sheet, man. I mean, they looked up your history. They were like,
They knew
dude,
it.
this dude's been in
know,
handcuffs
probably.
2 times. We got to watch this guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I know Matt's got.
I gotta-
about to
I gotta
leave.
roll. Yep.
We're basically at 50 minutes. So we'll just go ahead and wrap it up from here.
Oh, wow.
It went pretty quick, but
15 minutes.
That did go fast.
if y'all haven't already heard of Deerfield, make sure you go check them
them
out.
out.
We'll link their socials and stuff. Deerfield Fabrication. If you need a beach cart, sand spikes, he's eventually going to make some sand flea rigs. We're going to talk him into that.
Yep.
He's gonna be big in the Airbnb market.
Go shrimp
Yep.
pumps.
Go
if you-
shrimp pumps.
Hey, if you own an Airbnb
Yeah,
and you
hit him up.
need a
Yeah.
cart, hit the
There you
dude
go.
up.
But yep,
We're going to make those million carts like you
That's
said.
right.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
There we go.
I'm gonna have to learn how to weld. But hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, it was all over the place, just like always. So
That's how we roll.
Make sure you rate us.
Thank you, guys.
Leave us 5 stars. Leave us a review. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.